We will now hear from Kristofer Roberts from the Department of History. His presentation is entitled, Heaven Was a Place on Earth, Historical Preservation and Religious Ideology in the New South, 1939 to 1994.
Yeah, it's been really tough. The whole process has been tough, and trying to take a lot of information and whittle it down to 3 minutes has been hard. But it's been a helpful practice, and I think it's particularly helpful when you're trying to exchange ideas across fields. And that's one of the things that I've been able to do through all the preparation with the 3-minute thesis is, just give a very concise analysis of what I'm doing and take that in from other people. So I think that's where it's most helpful. The French sociologist Émile Durkheim defined religion as a system of beliefs and practices that united a people group into a single, unified community. As a religious historian, I want to add to Durkheim's understanding by analyzing the development and evolution of religious beliefs and practices over time. More specifically, I want to see how the past informs the present through the practice of historical preservation that is then incorporated into new beliefs and practices. My research centers on the Salem camp meeting in Covington, Georgia. Camp meetings were historically outdoor religious services that sprung up in the early 1800s across the rural South. Many of these camp meetings are sadly no longer with us, but a few of them have survived, including the Salem camp meeting. These camp meetings exist on the rural sites that they were originally established upon and create a sort of historical preservation mentality. I want to share with you a couple of examples of how religious beliefs and practices have developed over time at my case study, the Salem camp meeting. You'll notice the large image on the slide is known as Kitty's Cottage. This cottage was the home of a former slave built by her master in the early 1800s, or the 1840s. It was moved to Salem in 1939, however, and there it was transformed into a museum dedicated to Southern religion and the Confederacy. Inside the museum, the Salem community could go to reflect upon images of Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson, and other relics of the Old South that were intended to evoke a sense of longing for a Southern past that had gone by. The symbol of the cottage informed new beliefs and practices within the community. But historical preservation is not always material. In 1975, Tom and Agnes Elliott introduced the song Sweet, Sweet Spirit to the Salem camp meeting. Tom loved the song so much that his final words to the Salem Board of Trustees before his death were, "Keep the sweet, sweet spirit going." To this day, Salem camp meeting begins and ends every camp meeting with the singing of Sweet, Sweet Spirit in remembrance of Tom Elliott. These symbols and rituals are historical preservations that have led to new practices and beliefs within the community. What my research suggests is that while sociologists like Durkheim do a fantastic job of analyzing the role of beliefs and practices within society, it is only through the long scope of history that we're able to analyze how these beliefs and practices are formed, develop, and evolve over time. It is therefore that history is a vital ingredient to anything that we would choose to define as religion. Thank you, and roll tide. I had to freestyle a little bit there. I kind of got off track, which I guess happens, but that was part of the process, I guess, and I recovered, I think, so hopefully nobody noticed.